This is the S&P 500 Spider ETF SPY one-day reading for November 1st, 2024. It's currently October 8th, 2024, 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time. SPY at the time of this reading is $573.17. That's USD. The shuffle file for the November 1st reading was created on October 3rd, 2024 at 1:03 p.m. Eastern Time. In this video, we're going to go over the overall trend direction for the day. We're going to talk about the chart behavior around the day's highest high and the chart behavior around the day's lowest low, as well as the general timing down to roughly about an hour as far as where they are throughout the day. And then we're going to get into where the best trades are and the chart behavior by the hour. Basically, you have to give it plus or minus an hour here or there of wiggle room, and not in all readings, in a few readings here or there, but always pay attention to the sequence of events, because that will keep you on track if we are plus or minus a little bit here or there on the timing. The overall theme and behavior for the day, we have a prominent move higher through key resistance on a multi-day scale. We'll stay above it briefly and then break back down through it shortly thereafter with a full retracement, usually making like a capital A in the English language kind of pattern, where the price level that we break through momentarily is the horizontal line through the upside down V, if you will. Behavior around the highest high, we have a period of volatility that ends with a fast sudden move higher, taking us into the high. Behavior around the lowest low, we have a rally that increases with momentum moving forward out of the low. Interesting, it looks like there's a bit of a decline out of the high. Like, we'll have that fast sudden move higher ending the volatility, and then we'll have a decline from that high, which offers opportunity to open up a long position or close a short, indicating that we'll probably see the high again in the not too distant future. I would advise you trade around the period of sideways rotation that ends with a fast sudden move higher. We open lower in the pre-market, and it looks like there's some significant sideways rotation in the pre-market that leads to, right around the open, a fast sudden move higher ending that sideways rotation. It might even to the downside, kind of making it look like we're going to go further in the pre-market to the downside, but instead we have this move to the upside out of the open, taking us to a high for the day thus far and ending the sideways rotation. That's followed by a prominent trough out of the high somewhere in the first half hour, and then out of that trough we have a rally along a diagonal trend line that ends with a fast sudden move higher, and then a breakdown through the diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. It looks like that fast sudden move higher probably takes place just after 10 o'clock. That increasing volatility as we break down through that diagonal trend line, increasing with volatility on the way down, that decline will take us into another low for the day between roughly 11 and 12. We should have a move higher around that low. There should be a move higher through key resistance. We stay above it briefly, break back down through it shortly thereafter with a full retracement, and then some. It actually looks like we break through a little further, but then we do a U-shaped reversal, come back and reuse the support that we broke through as support. And then between roughly 12 and 1, we have a pop and a drop that'll take us into a high. Yeah, so that would mean that this early morning stuff here, this is really volatile, guys. This is really volatile back and forth, and it ends with this pop and drop, right? This pop ending the volatility, taking us to a high. Then we decline pretty notably out of that high back into lows. So through multiple supports back into lows between roughly 2 and 3, and somewhere out of that low, we have a rally into key resistance, and then we break down from that key resistance with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down in the midst of erratic behavior. That takes us into a low either at the end of the day or first thing in the morning here. And also that failure card that we see at the beginning of the 1 month reading, this is what I mean by like the energies sometimes bleed into each other on the edges. See, this failure card is the first chart event within the sequence of events on the 1 month for November. When we look at the dailies, across reading congruency actually takes place on the last day of October. We come into the first, and we should probably be in the midst of the full card energy here throughout the first or maybe into the second. As far as how I would trade this, so on the 31st, you would open up a short position around the high that we have, probably a partial here between 11 and 12, and then we go into a low, and then if there was another high at the end of the day, you would add it to that short position with the intent to close out of it. You could either close out of it first thing in the morning here, or you could close out of it at this Empress card here, which takes place around midday on the 4th. And the Princess of Wands is actually the high correlator on the 1 month, so another cross-reading congruency, which makes me think maybe we have another high here towards the end of the day. Like we have a high here, and then we go to a low, then to a high, and then maybe a low overnight, I think probably is what's taking place there. So the way that I would trade this, I would look to close out of the shorts that I opened on the 31st here at the open. If that doesn't end up being a good opportunity, then I'll have opportunity, like I said, on the 4th and probably on the 5th. But if this is opportunity for a good profit, then take that profit. Always go with the earliest opportunity when trading Sonata or trading in general. And then what I would look to do, you could also open up a long position for a day trade. Just don't get it when we're like already moving to the upside into a high, right? I think the next trade is going to be at the end of the day, opening up a short position. Let's say that we're near highs, we're off of lows and we're near highs here towards the close or around the end of day, like with this erratic behavior back and forth to the same price level between the 3 to 4 o'clock hour. We're probably revisiting the high there. When we revisit the high there in the like a rally into it, I would say that's where you want to open up another short position for another overnight swing. We have a notable drop overnight. Yeah, and most likely what you will do is you'll want to close out of it. We'll have like this big move to a high early in the morning, like out of the open. there'll be like a retracement of that move. You might be able to exit out in the retracement at like a trough around 11 o'clock, or there's another move to the upside followed by another move back down and a sideways fluctuating decline preceding a notable rally back into highs. I'd say that would be your second place where you could exit the short position from the first. And that's SPY for November 1st, 2024. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. Guys, we're posting these well in advance. The best and most efficient way to trade this information is going to be to keep these as guiders for what to expect, but then on the live stream, you can ask questions. Oh, are we on point? Are we on time? Are we on track with this trade? Is it still good to do? And I will advise you as to whether or not it still makes sense. If it follows along with what we say, then it's a solid trade. And then the other way is if you have early access on our website, Tarot for Traders, it gets you access to our live Discord trading alerts. We day trade SPY and we give guidance to do the same, as well as swing trades. And it also gives you access to the live updated trading view chart. All of that is part of the early access. The earliest you can get all of our public posts, $60 a month, $600 for the year. Check it out, my friends.